Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namni. Namaste Saraswate Gaurapanikacharani Nirvisheshwani Paschatya Devatarni. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaurabhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Who has the copy with you? Anybody has the copy with you?
Prabhuji, I have the copy, but I have to leave at 8:30 exactly. So
No. Copy means soft copy.
Soft copy, yes, Prabhuji, soft copy.
Okay. No, we will stop at 8:30. No, you can maybe leave it on and move out. When we end the meeting, automatically it will end for you. Only thing is we may not be able to scroll up now. That's the only thing.
I have to join something else. That's why.
Sorry,
I can.
You have to join
some other session. Yeah, some other session. So I
no
cannot
worries.
leave it.
No, what you do, you can do one thing. You can share that copy via WhatsApp in the group. So anyone else will in the group, they will be able to open it from the system. Maybe Piyush Prabhu or someone can open it. I think it was shared by Gaurav Prabhu.
It was shared. Yes, of course. It was shared already. That's why I got it.
Okay. Then it must be in the group. Piyush Prabhu, you are able to find out?
No, Prabhuji, actually, little bit difficult for me actually.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, I will share, Prabhuji.
You share till 8:30. We will see after that.
Yes, Prabhu.
If you have that copy with you, send it to me, na. Send it again in the group. You must be having that copy with you, no? Just post it in the WhatsApp group.
Oh, will it in what format it has been shared to?
It's in PDF only, Prabhu.
Any name, Prabhu, any idea? IWB,
that's the same thing. I will build you to IWB AT. Something like that.
I got it, I hope. Okay.
See if you have the latest one. It will have to 300 pages or something.
Part 3 it is.
25 MB file.
Open it and see which page you have.
Okay.
Should start with 251.
Yeah,
270.
It starts with 251, Prabhu.
Page number is starting 250, but does it go till 300?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu.
Then just you can share it in the screen, Prabhu. We will read from 270 onwards, page number.
Yeah, I may also have to leave, Prabhu, but I will send this to you, okay?
You send it. Just read it from there. Until you are there, you can do the screen share.
Yes.
So who wants to take over reading? Suresh Prabhu, why don't you do the beginning honors? You have the book anyway with you. You are on mute, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Later in 1974, can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Later in 1974, George Harrison came to Juhu to visit Srila Prabhupada. He was wearing a white kurta, white yogi pants, and had a beard bag. I took him around the property and he expressed his appreciation for our work and encouraged us in our efforts. When at 12:30, he heard the conch shell blow for Rajbhoga Arti. We went to the temple shed and George chose to pay a pair of kartals and sang with the other devotees. Puri Dasa, originally from Scotland, was doing the arti, and when he turned to offer the ghee lamp to the devotees and saw George, his hand started trembling so much that he thought he might drop the lamp.
For them and all, George Harrison is like a demigod, you know. Yeah, seriously, because many of them came to Krishna consciousness, especially in the UK, Europe area. They came to Krishna consciousness by hearing his songs. Especially that My Sweet Lord and few other very philosophical thing. They have loads and loads of stories to tell how they connected with him, how they sent him the first apple pie Mahaprasadam, through which they had connected with him. He was like a superstar actually, those days. Really amazing how even now if you go to UK Yatra, many of them will tell that, oh, how did you come to Krishna consciousness? They will say, oh, first I heard George's album, Beatles album. That is how they all came to Krishna consciousness. That's how Prabhupada, he arranges the right people at the right time. How they all come in touch with Prabhupada, we don't know. See, those days, Ambarish Prabhu, Alfred Ford, he somehow or other got attracted to Prabhupada. He was such a young person. He was even wearing brahmachari dress for some time. And he was serving Prabhupada like a normal person. Now, if you see, the Temple of Vedic Planetarium, more than half of the funding was done by him. And not only that, many other temples in ISKCON, he had supported financially and also in many other ways. So how all these living entities are brought together is totally a miracle only. And only by seeing Prabhupada's that sincerity, all these people they were doing something other there. And Prabhupada never insisted. In fact, George Harrison asked Prabhupada that, can I take initiation from you? Prabhupada denies. Prabhupada says, you are already Hari's son. Why you should get initiated? You are already initiated. So this should show. If Prabhupada wanted, like any other fake gurus, he would have immediately said, oh, yes, you have to get initiated. Come on, you become a devotee and all those things. And even without his asking, George Harrison would have given a lot more things than what we expected. Even that land which he gave in that Bhaktivedanta manner, that had to be obtained after a lot of hardships. Even after it was given, devotees couldn't enjoy it or use it in Krishna's service fully. So this is where we have to be very appreciative of how Prabhupada is seeing everybody, When we all see him as a demigod, for Prabhupada is another suffering soul. Because everybody thought there is no one more happier in this world than George Harrison. And Prabhupada only saw his suffering, how much his soul is suffering, how much he is eagerly looking for all the answers for his questions. So please continue, Prabhuji.
Yes, sir. After the Aarti, I arranged the place of Mahaprasada for George and accompanied him to meet Prabhupada in his apartment. Prabhupada greeted him warmly and I left them together and returned to my office. Prabhupada was behind his desk. Kṛṣṇa Dāsa later described with George in front of him. I barely remember what was said, but I remember that feeling of love that went back and forth between them. It was tangible. I didn't really understand what this relationship was. I was young, and here was a big rock star and a pure devotee of Krishna. And there was me somewhere. But I could just feel this feeling of love that went back and forth between Prabhupada and George. After their conversation, George and Prabhupada were served hot prasadam and ate side by side on chonkis, small low wooden tables. About 2 hours later, a pudgy 12-year-old boy with glasses, the son of our friend and supporter Pranjivan G. Walia of a Hare Krishna house came to my little office at the back of the property. I heard George Harrison is there, he said. Yes, I replied. He is. I want to see him. He stated. Well, you can't. He is meeting with Srila Prabhupada. He looked me straight in the eyes, sizing me up and concluding that he wasn't going to get anywhere with me. Turned and dashed to the stairs and bolted down the stairs.
So Even in India, this is in Mumbai, na?
Yeah, yeah.
Even in India, George Harrison is famous for a 12-year-old boy without the media support, except for news and maybe one or two national channels. What other source of media is there for us to know about the what's happening outside India in those 60s and 70s,
Yes.
right? For a 12-year-old boy to know about George Harrison, and it's really amazing. Yes, Prabhu, you were saying something.
Yeah, radio news could be the only news.
Yeah, radio is only news, other news available. And in radio, they will mostly talk about Indian things only. They will not talk about all the other things so much. Maybe they will play one or two of these songs, these English songs. Those days, there was not so much craze for English songs in India. Please continue, Prabhu.
Yes. Oh my God, I thought he's going to try to find him, and I bounded down the stairs to hot pursuit. I ran across to the next building, and when I reached the second landing in front of Prabhupada's flat, I found the door ajar. I found the door ajar. The boy just stood there aside, and beyond him, George sat cross-legged with his back erect, like a yogi, a perfect disciple listening attentively at the feet of his master. With the boy's
So
abrupt,
this we have to appreciate, devotees like George Harrison, because first thing is they are very famous, but
yeah,
still they are humble and they are honestly in search of the truth. And like this Steve Jobs and all, he also come down to India before meeting Prabhupada. He had come to like, say place like Rishikesh, Vrindavan, and few other places, and in search of the truth. Because frankly speaking, they become so famous, but then they're the ultimate thing that which this world, this material energy gives us is that a feeling of incompleteness without understanding the source of where we have come from and where we are going. In other words, the reality of the absolute truth. Without realizing that, how much our money, how much our name, fame, anything you may have, you will still feel short of something, or your still you will still feel incomplete. Someone who is not having the basic financial things, basic 3 meal a day and those things, will think that, oh, that person can get anything he wants. These Ambani people, they can get anything they want. This Adani people and Tata and all these people, they can just order and they will get whatever they want within moments. They can have their own chartered planes to fly here, there, etc., etc. But end of the day, if you see, this material energy is so clever or so smart that irrespective of whether you are very, very rich and opulent or very, very poor, the amount of misery or suffering that you face for that lack of that small thing or big thing, whatever that may be, is the same. The amount of misery you feel for a lack of food or a lack of the knowledge will be the same. Only difference is one is felt in the stomach and other is felt in the heart. That's all. And that's why
the
you see, yes, Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhu.
best example is that this Ambani brothers, Prabhu. One is rich, one is now bankrupt.
Yeah. No, but either way, the one is celebrating, man, so many days just for pre-wedding only. How long they will do till they die? They will keep doing wedding celebrations or what? Man, come tie the knot and go and jump into the ocean there in Dwarka. You will at least find the Dwarka temple there. All these celebrities come and one by one dancing this, that, etc. Whatever you are showing, end of the day, still they will feel they are lacking something if they don't they're not surrendered to Krishna. So irrespective of whether you are completely bankrupt, you are full of wealth, it's the same level of suffering.
Yeah.
Your stomach may be full, but your heart will be still feeling empty. That is why So many people still feel that emptiness when
Yes.
they have everything in the world, but then they will feel very disturbed by their lack of happiness. So it's a state of the mind. Mind makes you feel unhappy when you don't have food. Also, it makes you feel unhappy when you don't have the required knowledge. Also, you'll be completely full in stomach, but still you will be unhappy. This secret we don't realize. So that is why people like George Harrison or Steve Jobs or this Mark Zuckerberg, they are all why after all the money they have to come to India. And India is considered as a third world country or poor country or whatever. In that also they are going to a corner in Mathura or Vrindavan and trying to find the truth, source of the truth. They can go sit in Himalayas also. They can build their own hotel if they want. Some very opulent hotel there in the top of the Himalayas. Hmm. So these things should be thought out. I think Hemnath Prabhu left the thing, so he was sharing it. Maybe Chitra Mataji, you may have to share it till you are there.
Okay, Prabhu.
So this boy was so eager to see George Harrison that he went just like that and went entered without any, how should I say, the basic etiquette. A young boy, he does not know that when Prabhupada and George they are talking, they should allow them to have their private time. So he didn't know that. But then how nicely Giriraj Maharaj is explaining it here. Like George sat cross-legged with his back erect like a yogi, a perfect disciple listening attentively at the feet of his master. This reminds me of Parikshit Maharaj, how he sits in front of Sukadeva Goswami. So this is a very nice thing. So let's read further.
I will. Okay, Prabhu, I will continue.
Mm.
Uh, I ran across the next building, and when I reached, with the boy's abrupt appearance, Prabhupada and George had ended their meeting, exchanging some final words. George was gracious and appreciative, Prabhupada affectionate and kind. I was upset that the boy had interrupted them, but they took it as a matter of course. Maybe it was time for the meeting to end. Maybe they saw in it Krishna's arrangement.
This is a nice point, no? They didn't really question why this boy suddenly comes in between us when we are talking. They saw it as Krishna's arrangement, or maybe yes, that's a time to end. Maybe Krishna is giving us an indication. So both of them didn't feel agitated or disturbed by this boy sudden coming. Yeah. So please continue, Prabhu.
How that they see in a small incident also they see the Krishna's
Yeah. Yeah.
presence.
No, that is very true, Prabhu. Actually, it brings a lot of nice insight into how we should see even small things as Krishna's arrangement. It's really nice that suppose we are giving classes, you are preaching, etc., etc. Then you get some sickness. You have to take it as part of your life. It's not like, oh, we can't find out reasons like, oh, I didn't eat properly, I didn't sleep properly, that is why I got into this thing. No, it is Krishna's arrangement, Krishna's way of bringing things, bringing things into a balance. So why should we unnecessarily worry about say it's a way of purification that Krishna is giving us some ways of purification. So everything we should learn to see Krishna's hand in there, and that way we will not be agitated at all. Please continue, Prabhuji.
So this meeting is also with the Krishna's sanction. It is been taking place.
Yeah, definitely. That goes without saying. And it also gives one more interesting point here, Prabhu. the discussion between the spiritual master and guru is not like any other ordinary conversation. You see from the poster also one thing, and apart from that also, if you see that there is a Prabhupada sees a very important discussion happening there, and George Harrison is a serious disciple. He seriously wants to learn something from Prabhupada, and he, in his whole heart, he accepts, wholeheartedly he accepts Prabhupada as his guru. So normally a discussion between a guru and disciple happens that way. It's like it's very deep and insightful, and what happens there is beneficial for the whole world. That is why they are all recorded for future things. Many times you will see Prabhupada, George Harrison, Allen Ginsberg, they will be discussing. That discussion is a big folklore. Many devotees used to hear it many times and discuss and debate as to what were discussed there in that conversation. So it's very nice that this kind of a, because there are guru can be serious if the disciples are not serious. If the guru is serious and the disciples are not serious, then what will happen? The guru might speak, but it will not go into the heads of the disciple. But here is one rare case where both the guru and the disciple, both of them are serious about giving and receiving. So that's why it carries that much weightage. Please continue, Prabhu. Shyam Sundar and Ayyar. You are in mute, Prabhu. Suresh Prabhu, you are on mute.
Yes, Prabhu. Now I am connected.
Hmm.
I just remember that verse 18.13, Prabhu. Panchetani Mahabhava, that is. That, each and every small action or the Mahabhava Karanani Nibodhame Sankhya Siddhe.
Yes. The 5 different items that are causes of every action. Yeah, beautiful.
One of is that
Yes.
Krishna is there.
Yeah. Very nice. Thank you, Prabhuji. So let's read further.
Yeah. This Shyam Sundar and I accompanied George back to the temple shade for darshan of the deities. George paid full dandavats, laying completely flat on the floor before them for a long time, and then left. So what a wonderful this shows that how deeply is connected and with all our rituals and all that. So wonderful.
And secondly, Prabhu, if you see, he's not like a daily devotee. I mean, he's busy with his album creation, writing, and so many things. So he might not know every small nuances that the devotees are taught by Prabhupada. And as it is, the devotees are also new to many of these things.
Yeah.
They are also new to many of these things because Prabhupada is introducing all these things one by one.
Yes. Right.
But still, where did he learn these things? We don't know, right? That is where the greatness lies.
He got very short association and then he learned all such deep things and he's following them.
Yes, Prabhu.
This incident took place such a long time back and he so minutely remember every small aspect of it. That is so beautiful.
That's the beauty.
The next year, on a morning walk in Sanand, Gujarat, Prabhupada spoke about the meetings. He is very nice boy, George. I have studied. Very good boy. He showed me in Bombay. He came to see me in Bombay last year. He's keeping Jagannatha within his bead bag and chanting.
So serious, no? He's a very serious personality. That is why in his last days, Krishna arranged that he could leave the body with chanting Mahamantra in his beads. surrounded by great personalities like His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, His Holiness Mukund Maharaj, then Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Guridas Prabhu. I don't know if there is anyone else there. Just 4 or 5 of them in a private meeting. He left his body. So that is something which is amazing, because ever since Prabhupada left, his connection with ISKCON was not so very visible. He gave his land and property a little bit here and there, that is all fine. But apart from that, ISKCON devotees also did not bother to disturb him, nor did they go and ask for any Lakshmi or anything. Even the manner that he gave is good enough for the rest of the thing. And as such, they left him by himself. And he stopped writing. His things were all very famous. But in spite of that, that loving thing was always there in the long-term relationship. It's not that devotees started ignoring him. Oh, no, this person is not. He is not a genuine devotee. He was there only during Prabhupada's time. Now he's not there. Devotees didn't create that kind of any perception about him. Nor did George Harrison have any negative feelings about our devotees. So one thing we have to learn from this is that it doesn't matter if devotees don't connect with each other for a long period of time. But as long as they don't have any negative concoctions or negative mental concoctions about each other, mental speculations about each other, at least they will have some positive thing to carry with them. And that way, those negativities will not disturb our mind. Negativities will not disturb our mentality, our relationships and our mind. It's only the mind we are creating enemies and friends. So just because one person is not stop talking doesn't mean he become enemy. Or just because somebody is always talking doesn't mean he's our close friend. So this is all things where we should be very careful about, to not let the mind wander and create its own concocted ideas about people. So Prabhupada always had that thing with him. He didn't disturb George Harrison. He didn't say, no, come on, why are you like this? You should join us. He never said like that. He said, whenever you feel like you can join, you join, because you are a busy person. Prabhupada always encouraged him to keep doing your duty. People are all becoming devotees by your songs and by your love for Krishna, expressed in different ways. Please continue, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
There are some people, sir, we are connected, and even though for years we are not talking to them, but we are connected somewhere. I will say by spirit we are connected.
No,
And,
Prabhu, it is very true, Prabhu. By spirit, we are all connected. I will tell you one subtle thing that will destroy the relationships. That subtle thing is expectation. When there is expectation from the other person, you are expecting, oh, you should have called me, you should have spoken to me, you should have returned to me, or you should have spoken about me. When we have these kind of expectations, then it destroys. Even with talking or without talking, it will destroy.
yes, very right.
And as you said rightly, Prabhu, see, I don't connect with Radheshyam Prabhu day in and day out. I don't connect with Gauranga Prabhu day in and day out. For example, I'm telling. And I don't connect with Amok Leela Prabhu also day in and day out. But when we meet, it's the best meeting.
Yeah.
Like that day, yes, Prabhuji.
As if you are almost in touch with you every day.
Yeah. So suddenly, suppose Prabhu, say someone comes and tells me that, oh, Radheshyam Prabhu told this thing in nice. I genuinely appreciate it. So that is my connection with Radheshyam Prabhu. You understand? Or someone else might tell about some point about what I'm saying to Radheshyam Prabhu. He was not there when I was giving classes in Pune. But as soon as I reached in that 5-10 minutes of that car ride, he was coming from the airport and I received him in the airport. And then we were just traveling for 10 minutes where I had to get down at Ram Bhakti Prabhu's home. In that gap only, he was asking, oh, I heard you gave very nice classes, the nice points, Avanti Brahmana, and all. He's telling all the topics. I was amazed because he's so busy traveling. Still, he is keeping in touch with what's happening in his absence, who is doing what, which class. All these things is amazing to me. This is the real mark of a leader, you know.
Yes.
And that is why I somehow feel that relationships does not mean you should just every single day you should talk and give attendance. Not like that. When you have good feeling about the person, even if you don't talk to that person, but you talk good about that person to someone else, the Paramatma will make sure that the relationship is cordial between these other two people. I mean to say, the person about whom you are speaking and yourself, even though you may not be directly in touch. See, Prabhupada, he met him in one day, and the next year he is talking about George. I have studied. See, he's very nice boy, George. I have studied. Very good boy. He showed me in Bombay. He came to see me in Bombay last year. He's keeping Jagannath's beats and chanting. That's all. Prabhupada didn't have to do anything else to understand about the goodness of George Harrison. Within that one small moment he got, this is what it is. See? This is really how Prabhupada is teaching us in many ways. That see every Krishna in everybody. Can we read further, Prabhu?
Yes, we are successful because we try to please Krishna, and Krishna is merciful.
Prabhu, where are you reading from?
2:7. Sorry, I just.
For Narsimha Saptadasi.
Narsimha Chaturthi. For Narsimha Chaturdashi, a troop of devotees led by Jagat Purusha organized a drama depicting the appearance of Lord Narsimha to be performed in the temple room. There was an all-male cast, including the young and slender Navayogendra as Prahlad Maharaj. Bhagavata, who was quite large at as Narsimha Deva, and Jagat Purusha, who was very thin as Hiranyakashipu. The stage was set before anybody arrived, and Bhagavata, wearing a massive lion headdress, was hidden with a microphone in a papier machine, mache pillar that had been built in the corner of the darshan area. He narrated the drama, but because his voice was broadcast by speakers, nobody knew where he was. Prabhupada sat on his Vyasasana, and the play went on all around him, with the temple room itself as the stage and everyone else in the audience outside on the grounds.
This is really nice. Huh? There is so little facility, but still within that limited facility also they wanted to, they are doing all these wonderful arrangements for dramas and everything.
And they're all foreign bodies.
Yeah, and they have to plan all these things out. And it's very interesting to hear this, that Nrsimhadev himself is a narrator of the drama also. What's his name? Bhagavad Prabhu. Bhagavad Prabhu. Someone wants to take over?
No problem, bro. I'll continue.
Maybe Chitra Mataji. Induradhika Mataji, you can continue from the reading.
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Hiranyakashipu was the most powerful man in the universe. So he was supposed to have a big muscular physique. But the drama opened with him when he was performing his austerities, standing on the tips of his toes with outstretched hands, with all his ribs showing. And afterwards, Jagat Purusha put on shoulder pads and lots of padding. Aniteshwapu had been in the pujari room washing pots, but when the person playing Lord Brahma didn't show up, the devotees asked him to fill in. All he had to do was respond to Hiranyakashipu when asked for his boons. They assured him and they dressed him up with some ornaments and a crown and sent him to the temple room. From his viewpoint on stage, Aniteshwapu could see how absorbed Prabhupada was in the drama. When he saw me, Aniteshwapu described, he was astonished and opened his eyes wide, as if he was actually seeing Lord Brahma. His eyes got big, his head tilted back, and he was smiling. He wasn't just seeing some brahmacharis dressed up in makeshift costumes. He was seeing Lord Brahma and the other divine personalities. At the climax, when Hiranyakashipu called for Prahlad's Lord and pounded the pillar, Bhagavata as Lord Narsimha burst out with a roar, and Prahlad opened his eyes wide and leaned so far back that his Vyasasana almost toppled over.
Earlier, we also have, we might remember that there is this story of Narad Muni coming and asking the gopis for the dust of Krishna, for their dust to solve this problem, Krishna's problem, the headache. And there also they narrated how Prabhupada was literally emoting along with the people in the drama. He was not seeing a drama there, he was actually seeing the pastime happening, So you can see the same thing with Prabhupada. I think, I'm not sure if it is this one or in Mayapur, similar Narsinghadev Prahlad Maharaj pastime is enacted, and Prabhupada gives a lecture after that. And he really appreciates the devotee who acted as Hiranyakashipu. He really, he really appreciates him. Says, especially the one who acted as Hiranyakashipu, he acted really like Hiranyakashipu, like that. Prabhupada appreciate him very much. So,
Prabhuji,
yes, Prabhu.
it is like a black and white film picturized that day, and it is being now we are seeing it live.
Yeah,
So
very
all
amazing.
expressions, with all expressions, we are able to feel that drama going on.
Yeah,
and see
yeah.
that, different people
Nicely
react.
narrated, no? Yeah. That is the power of books, Prabhu. Frankly speaking, that is why books were always emphasized, because books will bring out the picture or the scenery in front of us. When we read based on especially when the descriptor narrator is really meticulous about describing them, he need not use complicated words, but he can speak from the heart. He writes from the heart, then it will reveal itself to us. It will picturize the whole thing to us. So it's a beautiful thing about writing and reading. Please continue, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Decades later, Jagat Purusha still remembered the day vividly. Over the years, I had done dozens of dramas with various devotees, but I had never had an experience like this. In one particular school of drama, the
Stanislavski.
Stanislavski school, the actors meditate upon their roles by doing so, transform into the characters they are portraying. I wasn't really trying to train the devotees in this way. But even without any conscious attempt by Srila Prabhupada's presence, every devotee in the drama ceased being that devotee and became the part he was pleasing. It was just unbelievable. Srila Prabhupada was there from the opening scene to the very end, and he was showing all these amazing expressions: surprise, concern, happiness, delight. Some of the devotees could barely watch the drama. They were so transfixed watching Srila Prabhupada watch it unfold. Everything was flawless because it was not a drama, it was a pastime.
Beautiful, huh? I think this is the same thing where Prabhupada is giving his speech on appreciating Hiranyakashipu. There is something that Maharaj is highlighting it here. Please read further,
Yes.
Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. Afterwards, the actor, still in their costumes, sat down where they were for Prabhupada's lecture. Today is the appearance day of Lord Narsimha Dev, he began. I am so pleased that within such a short time, these boys have nicely learned how to play. And especially, I have to thank Mr. Hiranyakashipu, at which everyone laughed and applauded. Mr. Hiranyakashipu has played his part very nicely.
Yeah, I remember hearing this lecture very few times. We used to hear this lecture during Narsinghadev appearance day time, Prabhupada will in this lecture, he'll go on to explain further about Prahlad Maharaj. So it's a nice lecture. So please continue, Mataji.
The devotees, especially the actors, were exuberant. As every devotee knows, Jagat Purusha recalled, nothing compares with getting the confirmation that Srila Prabhupada is pleased with something that you have done in his service. I was sitting there just 2 feet from his lotus feet, and I felt myself melting into the cracks between the tiles. And I thought, this is the best time for me to leave my body. It is so fulfilling to know that Srila Prabhupada is pleased.
Such an amazing quality, we can see that whatever imperfections they may or may not have, this one quality of simply living to please Prabhupada, the Guru, that made everything perfect. Sarvam karoti nishchidram, because that is the only thing that Prabhupada also, what Tamar Krishna Maharaj is telling about his dream just a few pages ago. That Prabhupada was giving the report that they were not at all qualified, but only qualification is that they want to please him somehow or other. So when you see that the spiritual master is pleased with something that you do, that's the success of our life. That's pretty much the success of our life. It's not a matter to become proud of, because there are many imperfections we have, and the spiritual master is equally dissatisfied with those imperfections also. But as a loving father, he doesn't show it up so much, because he wants to protect our faith, our conviction. It's not yet strong and firm, So such an amazing feeling that Jagat Purusha Prabhu is sharing with us here. Okay. So Mataji, can you continue further?
Yes, Prabhuji, I will continue. Almost exactly a year after the Bombay Municipal Corporation's attempted demolition of our temple, our Juhu neighborhood witnessed a horrific repercussion. One person who had joined with Mr. Nair against us was Mr. Krishna Rao Rane, the man who lived in the old mansion across from the temple and had been laughing when the BMC had brought down blowtorches to cut through the steel tubes. Rane had held influence over many people in the area because he had money and some intelligence. His mansion looked like a classic haunted house, and he conducted nighttime seances by candlelight in his garden, with stone seats and an altar, invoking the spirits of people's dead ancestors and claiming to communicate with them. In India, then, one had to be quite wealthy to own a car, but for some of his gatherings, parked cars would line the road, so we knew that even affluent people were coming to him. He was playing on their naivety, and he didn't like us because we were spreading knowledge while he was thriving on people's ignorance. So he joined the clique against us. Soon after, Gandiva's mother Yashoda had cursed Rane for his laughter during the temple demolition. Just as you are laughing when Krishna's temple is being burned, one day you will also burn. Rane contracted cancer and was tormented by pain. And then one morning at Mangalarti time, we heard shrieks coming from his house and we saw an ambulance drive up. Eventually, we got the news that Mr. Rane had covered his body with kerosene and set fire to himself. He died before the ambulance arrived. Later, I heard that when a black magician sends a ghost to attack another person and the ghost fails in his mission, the ghost returns to attack and torment the one who sent him.
See, if you remember that particular incident where all the devotees were taken by the police van, and this person was standing there watching and laughing at how our devotees were being tortured. He was enjoying that. And see, just like Nair was finished by Krishna, this person also, I'm just reminded of, because I am just reading through those chapters where Suruchi cursed Dhruva Maharaj, and she ended up being burnt in the forest fire. You see, that's what happens we hate saintly personalities and envy them, want to harm them. It just comes back to us. So all that he tried to do, all came back to him to haunt him. It's a very poignant reality for us to keep in mind. Please continue.
Yes,
Such
this temple,
eye opener.
yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah.
This happened with all other people who are involved in this incident from Nair side. all the people have
Yeah,
faith.
one by one they all
one by
finished.
one they will-
It-
yeah.
and nothing was done by us. Devotees didn't do any black magic or politicians or police people they didn't go to anybody. Right? Prabhupada didn't go to anybody. He just went on his world tour. Then Krishna said, you continue your service, I will continue my service. I will finish off all these people one by one. This is the beauty of pure devotional service. We have very little faith in pure devotional service, but this is what it can do. Krishna can take care of all the people who are against us. We just have to have that faith in him. Just continue with your seva, that's all. Forget about whether somebody likes us or hates us or whatever. Please continue, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. This temple was his forefathers. Dr. Patel explained on a morning walk. They were doing Shraddha Puja. Shraddha Puja here. He was a great roguish sort of man. His father or somebody had some power to know things here and there, and people used to come and worship him and give him money. Parsis were coming often. Parsis are very simple community. He committed suicide, a local man, Nara asked. He committed suicide? A local man, Nara asked. Yes, Dr. Patel replied. He committed suicide rightfully. He burned himself by pouring kerosene on his clothes. He was drinking, Nara added. And what was he not doing? Dr. Patel said. He was in all this, a big debauchee, mentally, physically, and sensually. In honor of Mr. Rane, the BMC named an open garden between Hare Krishna land and Sheetal apartments. Krishna Rao Rane Maidan. One of Prabhupada's visitors had Bhogilal Patel's had been an Indian devotee from America. He had worn tilak and the white dhoti and kurta of a householder, but his head hadn't been shaved, and I had not been sure of his position. While he had been talking with Prabhupada, however, I had noted their intimate and affectionate mood. I had rarely witnessed such familiar, affectionate conversations between Prabhupada and any of his disciples. When I asked one of my god brothers who the devotee was, he told me Gopal Krishna.
Jai Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. You will see something very sweet here. How Maharaj is doing something very interesting thing. He's his body is Indian bodied, but he has the experience of both the sides of the land, both the Indian chalaki also he knows, and the Western way of working also he knows. So because he was in Canada and US for a long time. So please continue.
Gopal Krishna often visited Bombay to meet his mother, who lived in Santa Cruz, not far from Juhu. But about 8 months after I first saw him, he joined Prabhupada on a morning walk and told him of a doctor who wanted us to open a small hospital or dispensary as part of the Juhu project. Prabhupada rejected the idea. No, we cannot divert our attention. You can say that we consulted Prabhupada and he said, at the present moment, until our building is there, we cannot accept any other extra business. You can say plainly that for the present, we are not interested. We have got many more important businesses than this hospitalization.
You see, at that time, Prabhupada was focusing on the temple completely. But now you see, in same Bombay, we have a huge Bhaktivedanta hospital. How it has come into being. The desires will be fulfilled, but only thing is that we have to give it the time, And Prabhupada, rightfully, he will do right thing at the right time. Many times he would say, I don't want temples. Right now, I want books. And when the books spread highly, then they will, the money when it comes, then he will disperse some of this thing to, come on, you start a temple here, you build a temple there, you get a land there, etc., etc. So that's expert management by Prabhupada. Please continue, Mother.
Bhagavata mentioned that the devotees had recently had kirtan in a hospital and that immediately all the patients became happier. The whole attitude had been very dull and unhappy and morose that, oh, we are in the hospital, my body, my body. But as soon as we had the kirtan, they all got out of bed and came and washed, and some were clapping and chanting.
See.
Just see, Prabhupada. Yes, sorry. Yes, Prabhuji.
Continue, Mataji.
Just see, Prabhupada responded. Immediately life Just try to understand how much great responsibility you have got. They all appreciated that we did the kirtan. Even the Russians appreciate. People say that our devotees are bright-faced. They're surprised to see the American boys. Are you Americans? Yes, completely changed. They cannot recognize. Is it not? Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
My parents telephoned last week. I said, and at first they couldn't recognize my voice. They couldn't believe that it was me. My father said, "Are you sure it's you?" Prabhupada laughed, just like a lawyer, and we all laughed at that. Mother is also very nice. Unless father and mother are nice.
Prabhupada is just giving the dots to fill up the things for us. So this is actually Giriraj Maharaj is telling that how they could not even, his own parents could not recognize his voice. Okay, so anyone else wants to take over from here?
Hare
With
Krishna Prabhu,
permission.
can I?
Please, Mataji, we are waiting for you. Where were you? You had gone for
No.
some trip or something?
Yes, Prabhu, 2 days we went to Simhachalam and
Oh,
Dwarka
okay.
Tirumala.
Hari.
Last
Nice.
class I missed.
No
Yeah.
problem, Mataji. Please continue.
With permission to build a temple complex stall, Prabhupada arranged with Mr. Sethi to build an additional story on the top of the existing tenement buildings. We needed
So the
funds.
NOC hasn't come yet. The NOC hasn't come yet. That's why the temple complex construction is stalled.
We needed funds, and Mr. Sethi suggested to Prabhupada that if we held a benefit performance with famous artists, we could make money for the construction. You can do, Prabhupada replied. Only Prabhupada, Mr. Sethi added. We will need some devotees to sell tickets. Our devotees cannot sell tickets, Prabhupada replied. They are meant for selling books. If Mr. Sethi and his friends promoted the program and gave the profit to the temple, he had no objection. But the devotees could not be directly involved.
Actually, see how caring is Prabhupada here.
Yeah.
He knew that in the fledgling phase, devotees can get distracted by all these things. That's why many times if they get into this too much into this record selling business because they were too much attracted to George Harrison. Initially, he was giving some little margin of support. But the moment he saw that they are getting too much into that and forget about book distribution, book study, he stopped it completely. He said, no more record selling, you just do this thing. So like that, Prabhupada always used to cut corners, according to the devotees, how they are going forward with the Krishna. Always one thing we should remember is that anything that we do in our life, in our devotional life, is only an aid to our main path of pure devotional service. If we leave that main path of pure devotional service and catch on to this one small thing, it may be, say, book distribution, it may be record distribution, it may be life member collection, whatever it may be. But you should see them as aid to our pure devotional service. If they take over the whole thing, then there lies the danger. And that's where spiritual master has to intervene and fix our, or bring us back to the focus. Many times that's what happens, So, Prabhupada is very clear here that they should not be distributing tickets. They should only distribute books. Please continue.
So our moment is a spiritual moment, Prabhu. Selling
Sorry,
tickets
Mataji?
for this sort of ones also, Prabhupada was not willing, I suppose.
Sorry, I was not getting you. What is that?
No. Our moment is spiritual moment. So selling tickets for this sort of things, Prabhupada was not inclined.
This will lead to one more thing. They will say, come on, go and distribute some movie tickets because this person is our life member. We have to do this distributing his movie ticket. You have to promote his movie. Like that, so many deviations can come. Prabhupada is very clear to cut it in the bud itself, nip it in the bud itself. Please continue, Mataji.
My dear friend, our generous supporter Damodar Chandra, who had given 25,000 for Vrindavan and had built Jaslok Hospital, where Kamal Krishna had his hernia operation, told me that the Sindhi Hindus in Lagos Nigeria were making a lot of money, and he invited me to come there and stay with him. Brahmananda was in Bombay then, and I took him to meet Mr. Chandra. The plan was that Brahmananda and I would meet in Lagos and preach together.
One second,
and that
Mataji.
some-
One second, Mataji. So, Chitra Mataji, is it your screen that is being shared?
No, I'm reading from the book, Prabhuji.
No. But in the screen, whose screen is shared? Is it
Maybe
Chitra Mataji's?
Chitra Mataji's.
Okay, I think Gaurav Prabhu is there. Prabhu, are you having computer or on phone? He's not in a position to do this thing, I guess. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me open it.
I'm in Vrindavan.
No worries, Gaurav Prabhu.
Krishna.
I know. Yes, Prabhu, I know you are there in that one. So don't worry. I will share the screen.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. I'll leave.
Thank you, Mother. You can
I was
carry on.
fortunate
Mataji.
to hear it from Prabhupada.
Sorry, Prabhu, I am not able to hear you.
Is the voice clear now, Prabhu?
Little better now. Okay, I am just taking that page now. Let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see.
So 276 page, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So please continue, Mataji.
The plan was that Brahmananda and I would meet in Lagos and preach together, and that some percentage would go to the African mission and some to Hare Krishna land. When I told Prabhupada about this arrangement, he said, "Why should a percentage go to Africa?" I could see how serious Prabhupada was to get funds for Juhu, how important Juhu was to him. I considered whether there was any need for Brahmananda to meet me in Lagos. Instead, I arranged for Bhukarba and his wife, Annada, who was a Sindhi, to come from France and join me in Lagos, and together we would all proceed to Bombay. Prabhupada flew to London on May 17th, and I left for Lagos 2 days later, entrusting more responsibility to the Indian devotees, Jeshomati Nandan, treasurer, Chaitya Guru, temple commander, and Manasvi, property manager. Sridhar Swami was the main collector and leader of the preachers, as well as a sannyasi and the most senior devotee. It was the first time I was leaving Bombay by my own choice, though I had been encouraged and sanctioned by Srila Prabhupada. I felt hopeful about going to Africa and preaching and raising funds, but I also felt a little concerned about Bombay, especially since Tamal Krishna had also recently left. But Prabhupada had worked hard to strengthen the management and felt confident that somehow or other things would carry on. He suggested that in my absence, the other leaders should meet from time to time to discuss and solve the problem, and they agreed and met at least once a week. So I went to Nigeria, and in less than a month, I was able to collect 2 lakh rupees, which was enough to finish the additional floor on the existing buildings. On June 8th, Manasvi wrote Srila Prabhupada, "Today, by Lord Krishna's grace, we began the construction on the A building. In the morning, all the devotees assembled there, and some of the tenants also attended the ceremony. In the midst of Maha Sankirtan, Mr. Sethi laid the first brick, and one municipal corporator broke a coconut, and people helped to put up the first window frame. Prasada was distributed to all the workers and the people assembled there, and also to all the tenants. The roofs of the old buildings were flat, with little white ceramic tile chips set in cement, and Prabhupada said that we should keep that flooring and build the walls and roof over it. We did not know anything about construction or local conditions or labor or materials. Mr. Sethi was arranging almost everything. I wrote to Prabhupada a few days later after my return from Lagos. Here at Hare Krishna land, the construction is going on rooftops of the E and F blocks. The F block is already plastered on the inside, and today the plumbing and electrical work will begin. In addition, the tile floor has to be put in, and then the building will be ready for our habitation. Due to heavy rains, it is not possible to give a definite estimate of when the work will be finished, but 7 to 10 working days should be sufficient. The slab on the E-block has also been put up, and in 3 days, the wooden supports can be taken down. Then the process of plastering the walls and installing plumbing and electrical work and tile floors will follow, and that building may be ready in 15 or 20 days of work. When the F block is ready for habitation, we shall vacate the hut and use the materials to build a godown for cement and other construction items on the other foundation. The present hut cannot be retained as the godown because our master plan shows that area as garden, and in order for the master plan to be passed, we must demolish the hut. As soon as the hut is demolished, the master plan will be approved, and once the master plan is approved, we will submit the complete proposal for the main project in Hare Krishna land. Mr. Sethi is practically handling the construction himself and is very anxious to demolish the hut so that the main plan can be passed and we can begin construction on the temple after monsoons. The additional floor on the E building was to become the Brahmachari ashram, and the additional floor of the F building was to become Srila Prabhupada's area with his personal quarters in one apartment and his staff's quarters in the other. Should I continue, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. Until this municipality, you can come and we'll stop there.
In the next month, the Brahmachari shifted to one of the new apartments and the hut was nearly demolished. We have received an allotment of 30 tons of cement from South India. I wrote Prabhupada. And as soon as the cement is received by us, we can begin construction on the third rooftop. The plan was that when the second rooftop apartment was ready, the Brahmacharis would move from the first rooftop to that one, and the Grihasthas would move into the first. On August 16th, Prabhupada wrote me, I was very glad to learn that you had such a nice Janmashtami celebration and that even our Mr. Sethi was dancing during the Kirtan. Actually, it is due only to him that the plans for the residence quarters were approved by the municipality.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. You can stop there.
Hare Krishna.
This is such a nice thing to realize about Sethi. The first day when he meets Prabhupada, we all know what kind of chastisement Prabhupada did to him, even without knowing about him, right? But now you see the same Sethi has got such nice appreciation from Prabhupada for his dedication and surrender in his work and expertise in his work. So one thing we understand is that nothing is permanent. Like if Prabhupada is appreciating us for something, it does not mean that we are a good person forever. And if he chastises us for something, when he says Prabhupada, it includes our spiritual master or who is our senior Shiksha Guru or whoever we call it as. If they chastise us, that doesn't mean that they hate us for the rest of our lifetime. It is only for our corrective thing that they are doing. So when they are appreciating it, doesn't mean we are become pure devotees overnight. No. That moment they see that something is sincere, and for that they are appreciating. The moment we become puffed up, then that whole thing is cancelled. It's no more there. That appreciation is no more valid. So we have to be very careful in taking them as just a token of appreciation. That's all, nothing more than that. Otherwise, it will get into our heads and it will become so puffed up, and that again will displease the spiritual master. So certain things pleasing the spiritual master and displeasing the spiritual master should not be taken to heart or taken as maybe lifetime endorsement or whatever. That is never to be done like. So you can see that's why Prabhupada, if you see, quote any book you take of memories of Prabhupada, sharing Prabhupada's pastimes, whatever, always see that when the same person, Prabhupada will go back and forth. One day he will appreciate, one day he will not. One day he will chastise, another day he will send him to another services, etc. But then when he is not there also, you will appreciate him, remember him. This is how is Prabhupada is not only just a spiritual master, but is also a loving father to every one of us who are surrendered to him. Not only those who are directly his disciples, even for us who are far away in time, in terms of the time wise, still he is kindly guiding us, lovingly giving us a shelter, soothing shelter. Any temples we go, anywhere we go and see, there we can experience Prabhupada's love for all of us. We'll stop there. Any last words from anyone before we wind down?
Prabhuji, this all looks like the Prabhupada's service to Lord Krishna, like Ambarish Maharaj, like Dhruva Maharaj, like all Prahlada, and all that, whatever they did to serve the Lord. Similarly, here, our in this current century, the Prabhupada's how serving the Lord is no less than a Bhagavata Purana.
Really, Prabhu, Bhagavatam is only 12 cantos, but if you see the number of books written on Prabhupada's memories, that far supersedes the 12 cantos actually. And more are coming, in fact.
Yes.
And it is not simply some glorification of somebody, a great person. So by glorifying him, we also become famous. No, that's never there in the tiny corner of their minds also. They all do it out of their genuine love for Prabhupada. And the purity of Prabhupada shines forth as a. He is not insisting any of them to write books on him. He wrote books on Krishna. And you see, this is the beauty of Prabhupada. Maharaj always used to say, Maharashtra Maharaj always used to say one thing, that those who ever did the Jai Jaikar for Krishna, their the Jai Jaikar will happen all over the three worlds. All the people will do their Jai Jaikar. So that is literally happening. Prabhupada didn't write anything about himself. He wrote everything about Krishna. And you see, till now, Bhagavatam is done and done. It's like all 12 cantos are over. Bhagavad Gita is over. Right? But about Prabhupada, so many more books are coming. And that is what Krishna does. He does to his pure devotees. So much. It's such a nice thing. Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing this realization. So,
Prabhuji, and this
yes, Mataji.
Prabhupada's disciple, in spite of his chastisement, actually they used to take his chastisement also as a blessing, and
Blessing
they used
only.
to serve.
Blessing only. Like today we saw that pastime by Sudhakirti Prabhu in the group. I think Divya
Correct.
Mataji posted it.
Yeah.
That was one
correct.
of a very, very poignant and moving thing for me when very early days, 95, 96, if I'm not wrong, 97 or no, 98. That's when I was reading these books when I was alone. I used to take printouts and keep reading them day and night. So I very, very vividly remember this particular pastime where Prabhupada chastises Sudhakirti Prabhu in Vrindavan, and he was doing that Chamra thing. And it's a beautiful realization after that, that showed what really it means to be a disciple. This is amazing thing. And these are all Western body. They didn't have anything to, they didn't have anything, training of any sort from anybody. That's the beauty. How did they learn all these things? To respect the spiritual master, to have feelings like this when somebody is chastising us. No, it's all amazing, really. This is how Krishna inspires.
Yeah, they could have had the option of going back. In spite of it, they were staying with Prabhupada and did everything whatever he wanted. And hard, Prabhuji. And those days, matlab, how India was, or how Mayapur was, or how Vrindavan was,
Basic
and how they
facilities
were
were
in
also not
US,
there.
not there. How they come. It's unbelievable only. What
Yeah.
Prabhupada had. Matlab, sometimes you feel Prabhupada is really out of the world only. But
Yeah,
my God.
many times, Mataji, especially when that moon expedition happened, many of them were surprised to see Prabhupada stand. They thought that Prabhupada would support them and all that. Because all said and done, even though they were devotees, they still had that pride that, oh, we are Americans, we have gone to the moon first, etc., etc. Right? So those kind of things can naturally, that nationality will be there in anybody, which is not wrong. So they were feeling that, oh, maybe we are really done something, all that. But Prabhupada stuck to his guns. He said, as per Shastra, they haven't gone to moon. They cannot go to moon. So there are quite a few who left the movement by hearing these statements. But those stuck to Prabhupada were those who said, whatever it is, they may say we have achieved this, we have achieved that. But what Prabhupada, our spiritual master, says is ultimate truth. Those who stuck to him, they found reason in what Prabhupada said. So it requires a lots and lots of surrender mode. You know, if without surrender mode of surrender, it is not possible to accept. But at the end of the day, he's an Indian. He's some old person coming from India. Why should I believe in him? They can think like that. But what made them give their life to him? Because Prabhupada showered so much love. And those who recognize that love, they stuck to him. Thank you, Mataji. Such a beautiful one. Kamalni Mataji, I see you are about to say something.
Prabhu, yeah. Actually, Prabhupada was once narrating how his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Swami, chastised him. He was in the Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Maharaj was giving, Prabhupada was giving lectures, and some of the people could not understand the high English language.
No,
So
no, they
Prabhupada
cannot.
was just translating them to some of the devotees, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he got angry. He didn't know what Prabhupada was talking. So he said, you think you know
Yeah.
everything? Come sit here on my classes and give lecture. Then his disciples asked Prabhupada, how did you feel when your spiritual master chastised you? He said, I'm so happy, I felt like
I'm so
dancing.
proud.
I'm
So proud
proud.
that spiritual master
So many people
chastised.
were there. My Guru Maharaj chose to correct me. So he is such a great person. How he chose to correct me, a very simple person. That means I am so elated. I'm so happy. I feel like dancing. So that is the.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing that wonderful anecdote. There's a beauty of how they teach us the spiritual life. Not only the philosophical side of it, but also the practical side of it. Oh, nice. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhus. We'll stop here, and we will connect again on Saturday morning, Krishna willing, with Narad Muni. Thank you so much. We'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Jai Shila Prabhupada ki jai.